Good morning, traders. TG Watkins here at simplertrading.com and coming from you live from Cabo. My wife and I are actually here. This is the view that we have coming out of our window. Cabo San Lucas is a beautiful place. The weather's been great. Now down here with her family and taking a little bit of a week vacation coming into the markets here, which seem to be all right. We're getting everything I've been expecting with the markets, and so it's been easy to kind of just take some time, get on the beach, enjoy the good weather, and get out of the rainy Seattle stuff that is tends to be around for November. So just come over here if you guys have any questions about who I am or first time seeing me. Come over to profitpilot.com. You can check out the newsletters that I write, and then you can also check out the services that I offer through the alert services, the Moxie indicator, all the kind of stuff that I talk about with this kind of trading. So let's get into it. Looking here at the S&P, we've been expecting a pullback at some point. I mean, it has taken just forever for this market to finally roll over, but it is doing that. And so this is we've been expecting this. You can see here that price just got way too overbought. You can see there's a big gap here between price and the 8 EMA. Just everything was just up, 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 up. So, we've just been sitting tight waiting for the market to pull back and give us some better opportunities. And you can also see we had, price kind of moving like this at a nice angle like this, and then finally just jumped up. And that's often a lot of times you see it kind of jump the shark or whatever. And that was too much. You could even just see that here on the daily chart as well. So just being patient, waiting for it to come back down, and that's what we're getting. And then with the Moxie indicator, you can see here that there was some negative divergence kicking in, so we were aware of that. And then if we come over to the NASDAQ, you can see it's basically the same thing. Price has been doing well and finally just jumped up too much, and you can see there's a big gap right there. It just got excessive. So the fact that price is coming back down totally makes sense. We've been waiting for this. Now the question is just how far is it going to come down? Are we going to come down to the daily 21? Are we going to come down to the daily 21, maybe bounce a little bit and come down to the daily 50? That's the kind of stuff that we just don't know yet. So we're going to have to sit and wait and watch to figure out where this thing wants to go as far as a pullback. And if we look at the IWM, this was kind of the first clue of the markets wanting to pull back, was that if you look at the 15-minute time frame, you can see price was doing nicely following the 15-minute 50 and then broke right there. And again, big distance between price and the hourly 50, and same thing on the daily chart, just way overbought. And at this point, we're just waiting for price to come back down. I would not be surprised to see price get below the hourly 50. In fact, that would be wonderful. That would be really great if we had that, because that would set us up a potential trampoline move. If price gets below the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator is this high above zero, now it will change, but generally speaking, then that is a trampoline move, and that's something that I can watch. I can watch that happen. And for those of you who don't know about the Moxie indicator or don't have it, the trampoline move is one of the strongest setups that I have out there, and you could see it even back here where price was below the hourly 50 but the Moxie indicator was above zero, and then it bounced off of the hourly 200, and that's the kind of move that we got. So that's what I'm talking about when I say trampoline move, and we might be getting that again when we get this pullback. So we're just going to have to wait and be patient and see how far down this pullback goes. And then as far as the VIX, we've been seeing this thing set up. So we've been seeing this pullback, as it took a while, but we've been seeing this thing setting up from quite far away. If you look at the VIX, here's the daily chart. There's the leg, there's the heel, there's the arch of the foot, there's the ball of the foot, getting that elf toe. And then, there we go. I had to wait for it to load. And if you see here on the hourly, you can see there's the double bottom, and there is the positive divergence, and we're starting to get our Moxie price triggers right at the same time. And then what you could see here was there's another double bottom, right there, double bottom. And that's what helps set this thing up for the VIX. So again, we've been just expecting this, watching this. I've been communicating to the Moxie subscribers that, at some point this market's going to pull back, and it should be good for us. We just won't need to buy the dips, figure out where the dips are and start buying them. The UVXY, you could also see there was a double bottom right there, but more notably, price down, Moxie indicator up, and look at the timing that you get with that Moxie price trigger. How's that? That's pretty good. So we started seeing that happen with the UVXY, telling us that the pullback was basically imminent at that point. And then another thing that we're seeing is the Gold, precious metals, they're really starting to pop and explode. And this is something that even on my public newsletter, I was communicating to people out there. And this one we were seeing from a mile away. Yet again, another trampoline move. Look at that price below the daily 50. Look at the Moxie indicator above 0. This is on the daily chart. And I tell you, this is why I call it a trampoline move, because it's like price just jumps on a trampoline and then gets shot right back up. And that's what we're starting to see. So pullbacks, dips should be viable on GDX, on gold, on silver, on those things. Now, I have not found a second entry on this yet. So far, it's only been following the 15-minute 50, but eventually it will engage with the hourly chart, and that's where I'll add my second piece. So we're having a good time right here with the gold miners, and then we can take a look at, well, let's look at gold itself, and you can see the same thing. You want to know about how the Moxie indicator works? Check this out for timing. How is that for a daily Moxie price trigger signal? Really, really nice. And then this is the same kind of move I was looking for with GDX and gold, and I said the whole sector is going to be moving together when it does that. And you can see here silver basically doing the same thing. You know, they travel in packs and they bring their friends. And so you can see here, Moxie price trigger right there on the daily chart, very similar to the trampoline move here on the GDX. You can see price got up over the 50 and then it pulled back into the 50 and boom, now it's off to the races. So dips should be viable if you're interested in silver. You can see it right here. There's a little dip right there, viable. And so going forward, we should be having a good time in this vein of precious metals. And along with that, precious metals, I guess you could say, let's go over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also having a great time. And we have been trading this and playing the sector and also having a very, very good time with this. Now notice, on here on the daily chart, see the trampoline move again, price below the 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0, trampoline move, nice. And then at some point, you know, Bitcoin became a little overbought. You can see here it got outside of its third ATR. Now I know I'm using GBTC, it's the ETF, but I can show things pretty easily with this. So it got a little overbought, and look what it did. Just pulled back to basically the daily 21, went sideways for a little bit, and then started to pop out of here. So we started to load up on Bitcoin on GBTC right in through here, and it has been rewarding us quite nicely. And then along with that, we can look at Ethereum, and Ethereum had a bunch of trampoline moves. So you can see here on the daily chart, had price below the daily 50, Moxie indicator above 0, trampoline move. And then you can see here it tested the daily 50, which is also a trampoline move on the hourly time frame right there, and then basically been following the hourly 50, made a little dip below there, but been doing a good job following the hourly 50. Now, at some point, Ethereum is going to become overbought, just like the market, just like GBTC, you know, all these things, they're going to be overbought. So at some point, it's going to come from here and probably pull back a little bit. And you know what? Whenever we can find that pullback, just like we did on GBTC, you can add more, and then it should keep going up from there. So dips are viable. With that, just to show you a couple examples. Now, coin, sure, it had earnings. I doubt anything bad came out from those earnings. It's just an excuse, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news, probably. And you can see that just like Ethereum and all that, you can see here that Coinbase was overbought. I mean, it had been doing a really, really good job following the 8 EMA, basically riding that third ATR. It was overbought. And so they just sold it off, you know, came up here, came down here, just like Ethereum. That I said Ethereum would, and even Bitcoin. So, you know what? Here's now a better opportunity, better price to go out there and buy coin. So, wait for this thing to stop going down, find those entries, and then you can load up in coin if you're interested. Another one that's kind of in that vein, you look at SI, and just more examples of how we'd be looking for pullbacks. You know, you can see here, overbought, pull back, overbought, starting to pull back. Now, is this as far as it's going to pull back? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and watch. What you could do is, when we saw this pullback here, you can see it came down, again, earnings, but where was the good move that you could tell that this thing was going to go back up? Right here, as price got back on top of that hourly 50, you could start seeing some positive divergence on the hourly time frame, and basically the daily Moxie indicator was super high. So, you know, this thing was doing great. And right now, just pulling back. You know, keep looking for these dips and these lows for us to get in and buy, and it should be a good time. Another one, MSTR. If we look at some of these things, I think even up on the higher time frame, like, this one might be the laggard of the group, but that's fine. That it's showing me that a lot of names in the crypto, Bitcoin space, miner space are doing pretty well, holding their weekly moving averages and just now starting to break out. So this is really, really good stuff that I think bodes well for the future, and that I think these things are just starting. So once more, you can kind of see with MSTR, overbought, pull back. Maybe this is getting overbought, but maybe it could do what coin did and just keep going up a little bit more before pulling back. So, if you're interested in this sector and Bitcoin related names, maybe now was not the best time to buy it, but you should keep waiting for these things to pull back, and it looks like they should be all right. All right, now a couple of things I wanted to show. Look at Nail. This thing, almost back from the dead. It had a major pullback on the weekly time frame, but let me show you what that looks like, because you can see here it actually did a double bottom and a trampoline move. So there's your double bottom right there on the weekly, and then what you could see is price below the weekly 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0, trampoline move. How's that? So it's all over the place. The Moxie indicator works really well, and the trampoline move is one of my best setups. Now, on the daily chart, and you can see that price crossed the daily 50 and then just kept going. That's pretty impressive. Usually what I look for and what I like to see is price get over the 50 and then pull back into the 50. So it has yet to do that, and that's what I would be looking for and expecting. At some point, I probably want to see price come back down a little bit and test some sort of support on the daily time frame. But as far as the hourly, what it did, as you can see here, it got a little overbought, went sideways right here, and then started to bounce and run off of the hourly 50. Great, but at some point this thing is going to pull back. So just don't be too surprised about that, and then you can get some better opportunities. And then away, this is the travel technology space, and I thought it was very interesting watching this because you could see, I had my 50, 250 maneuver that worked out perfectly, and even through here you could see kind of this level and this positive divergence right there. And so I'm just watching this. It has Uber and Lyft and a couple interesting names in here, so if you guys want to look at the ETF. Now, what really caught my attention was this was basically a trampoline move. It was just almost right there, but if not a trampoline move, then at least the Moxie price trigger fired right on cue. And you could see big move like this, and now we're pulling back. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're patient and you see these big moves and you just give them a little bit of time, they usually come back down into some viable range, and this might start being viable. We see price back into the daily 8 EMA and into the daily 50, and then on the hourly chart we got price coming back into the hourly 50. So this, if you're interested, might be a good play for you. How about Jets? It's kind of in the same area of this travel kind of reopening type stuff, and you can see for all intents and purposes it was about the same situation. 50, 250. Now that was a much bigger one, but the concept's still there. This is why I don't just buy when price gets at the daily 50. I gotta actually look for confirmation of price turning around. And you can see Moxie price trigger right on time, and you can see in through here price holding the hourly 50. Now it got overbought. It's up here, third ATR, very extended. It's coming kind of back down a little bit, so maybe somewhere in here, maybe a little bit more of a pullback, maybe more sideways flagging, and then we can see if Jets, if you're interested in it, is going to start getting taken off. So, and then TAN, just another sector that was really overbought, showing you that, if you miss the first trade, if you miss that first big move, there will be others. And so you just wait, you get patient. I was expecting price to pull back a little bit further here, but honestly what it did, trampoline move on the hourly. Just flagged right into the hourly and boom, up like that. The Moxie indicator was still very much above 0. So big move there, but second time right here, getting pretty overbought. Second time, you could almost see some divergence. Price was up very high. The Moxie indicator was up a little bit, so it was not quite supporting that move up. And now you can see price is underneath the hourly 50. It's underneath some of these moving averages here. So this too, I would give a little bit more time, let it pull back, see where this thing's going to dip. If you want to get into the solar space, just let it come down a little bit further, and then you can find a new low to get into and buy. So All right, well, that's going to be my quick time. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, or this morning, actually. And yeah, just wanted to tune in since I'm in Cabo taking a week off. This market's pretty nice, so I didn't want to be out of touch too much. And I always appreciate you guys tuning in. So, yeah, leave some comments, say hi. I know you guys always talk to each other and kind of put ideas back and forth. And other than that, I will see you next week when I'm back in Washington and back on our normal schedule. See you guys then.